Welcome to Married to the Boss.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We're back. We're excited again. This week we're going to be talking about pricing, right?
Pricing.
Yes,
Very
we're going to
important.
be talking about pricing. And pricing, as we mentioned in another podcast in the past, I know we touched on it very lightly, it's going to make or break your business. So we thought it would be important to talk about now, especially during these challenging times. We're still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, and so we have to rethink through some things, but also just know that everyone out there is having the same challenge, somewhat similar. Perhaps we don't know everybody's individual situation, but I'm sure that we're all feeling the pressure. Speaking of that, we've had some clients come to us with similar problems, and we had one that wanted to use our service, but we weren't sure it's going to be a good match. But you stopped yourself on your tracks and you said, I might be able to make it work because he's now a client. At the time, he was challenged with his pricing strategy. So this is a great, I think,
Good example
to use for getting creative and thinking outside of the box when it comes to pricing. So would you
Good
like to share that with us?
I would. So, had an initial phone call, and it's about pricing tied to, of course, typically inventory. And so our software can do a lot of things, but this one thing in particular he was asking for, the software wouldn't do it, but two, it didn't make sense for any software to do it. So it was such a big challenge that this was a late at night. We support our clients all hours of the day, so we talk to them all the time. And that's part of our relationship with our customers. And so he appreciated that at 8 o'clock at night, on a Friday night, that we were having this conversation. And I said, I need to think about it. I said, our software definitely will not handle your wishes for tying pricing to inventory. And I don't know any software out there that will do it. And I explained to him that, I've been in the airline industry, the hotel industry, the car industry, the parking industry, and all those are heavy pricing and inventory. And I've never been, part of a system that could, do what he needed. So I said, you know what, let me think about it. I just really wanted to tell the man that we can't do it, just go elsewhere. But I didn't. I said, let me sleep on it. Let me really think it through. So got off the phone and we started talking. And then after talking a little bit, I started jotting a few things down on paper. If this was our business, see, I always like putting myself in the shoes of the customer. If we were doing this business model, how could we do a workaround? And we've done so many workarounds in software. It's too many to mention. But there's just got to be a way. And so the long and short of it is we found a way. And so I told him that I would get him an email and then I would call him. So I did. I put an email together and kind of laid out a little sample structure. Option 1, option 2. If it was me, I would do option 1, but if you really want to work it hard, you could do option 4.
Option 4?
I'm sorry, option 2.
Okay.
Sorry, option 2. I was thinking there was 4 different prices. So option 1 was 3 price breaks, and then option 2 was 4 price breaks. So it was it would be working hard for the second option. Yeah. And so again, to make a long story short, send the email. We talked on the phone. I said, did you understand it? He said, I did. He says, I never even thought about this. He said, of course I can work harder. Well, I really wasn't expecting that, but it worked out. So he says, it absolutely makes sense what you're talking about doing. And your system can do that? And I said, without a problem, I can do that. He says, okay, I'm ready to go. And here's the situation. This business, he was getting 70 to 80 phone calls a day asking about pricing. Or is it available? Pricing and available. Pricing and available. He's getting these calls all day long. He couldn't even run his business because he's answering the phone. So the whole idea of using our software was to relieve that pressure and take that 70 phone calls down to 10 or none. Because when you have an online reservation software, it will eventually reduce your phone calls drastically. And if it puts your pricing right out there and it shows you what's available, we all know what that's like who's listening to this podcast. You've made an airline reservation or a car rental or a hotel. It's all the same process, the same model, same type of a platform. But this was for a small business. And so the pricing, in regards to the pricing strategy, it was creative it really wasn't creative. It's not like I'm a genius. It really wasn't creative. It was just really thinking out of the box. I don't know how else to put it. So if he had a rate for a product at 9 o'clock, he could only handle one reservation at 9 o'clock. He could not handle multiple customers. So we set it up to where, and also because he didn't have a whole lot of inventory, it made it a real challenge. So we set up pricing for 9 a.m., for 10 a.m., for 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. And then that was for a half a day pricing. And then a full day pricing, the hours were in between, like 9:30 to 10:30, and then 2:30, and then to 4:30. And then if you wanted this product for 24 hours overnight, then you had to call. So he actually just loved the whole idea. So we implemented it. This just literally just happened last week. And we're bringing him on board as a client. And, the good part about this is that you always try to get a buy-in on the other side. It wasn't like, this is what I would do if I was you, but it's your business. This is one way of handling it. Here's another way. If you really, really want to work it hard, this is an option for you. So it's really just thinking out of the box. And sometimes you're so close to your business, you can't think out of the box. And when it comes to pricing, your goal is to get as much product out in a day or a week or a month as you can. Mm-hmm. You don't want to limit yourself. I can only handle one person at 9 o'clock and one person at whenever they get back at, let's say, 2 o'clock. I mean, you can't, you got to really, it goes back kind of to our last podcast that you got to reinvent all the way through the process because of this whole pandemic thing. So make it easy for the customer. Mm-hmm. It may not be as easy for you, but the goal here is to make your business more efficient mm-hmm. and make you more money. And as we said in the last podcast, if you didn't hear it, this whole process is based around touchless. Do everything online. Make your reservation. Do the waiver online. Pay online.
Well, that might be a little bit too specific on that particular situation.
Yeah, on that, but
for that. Yeah,
it is.
Our audience.
It is, but in that situation, he could do everything. Where when the person arrived,
sure.
Time to go.
Yeah, sure. So since we're almost out of time,
Sorry.
I guess to wrap up.
It's a big pricing strategy.
No, of course, yeah. I guess the point I guess that you're trying to deliver is that whether you have a service that's tailored around that revolves around a reservation environment, or a business that might be product based that you might have to ship it out, mm-hmm. maybe shipping, maybe mm-hmm. you have merchandising, then in that case you want to make sure that you rethink your pricing during rethink your pricing in order to always make it a win-win, not just for you but also for your customers, because in your case the gentleman, mm-hmm. He was limited in what he was doing manually. Mm-hmm. So by automating the process, he was able to not just, he was able to, at the end of the day, is get more, service more customers in one day's time, yep. therefore making more money. So it allowed him to and still do what he loved to do, which is provide yep. that one-on-one that he was doing with each one of his clients.
But let's mention one thing. In this particular case, he's going to handle 5 times more customers a day
So then
on
he
this
already
new pricing
made, yeah, so
strategy.
then he already made more money.
Yep.
So even though we're in COVID, he's actually making more money than he was before
He
COVID
is.
because it forced him to be creative.
Forced him to
And that
think.
made him, it's gonna make him hopefully more
Absolutely
successful.
right. Yep.
And the same thing could apply to you. So if you sell a product or service, you can also think that
Mm-hmm.
way. What is it that you can do today to make yourself different, make yourself more marketable, make yourself more attractive to your customers, and be successful? Just because we're having economic tough times doesn't mean that we have to surrender to the tough times. And
Yeah, and here's something you have to think about, is that you might have to go back to the beginning with when you worked hard at the beginning of your business. So this gentleman made the same thing. I didn't have to work this hard 4 years ago, but I'm willing to work hard in order to build my business. So here he just took 2 steps back and said, I'm willing to go at this thing real hard like I did 4 years ago if it means I got to work harder. You probably need to get your mindset in that way during this crisis that we're in, that you may have to go back and work your butt off for the next 4, 5, 6 months or a year. But if you think that it can really just be status quo, if this gentleman would have just kept status quo, he probably would be out of business.
yeah.
So that's just kind of I think how you need to think through.
Yeah, and we're doing the same thing too. We're working our butt off trying to make it work,
Yep.
right? So you're not alone. We're right there with you. If you have any questions, if you'd like to share some of your challenges and you'd
Yep.
like us to help you, this is not, this is just, we like helping people.
Pro bono.
Yeah, pro bono. We believe our professional motto, our professional motto as entrepreneurs is we are here to serve.
Yep.
We love to help people be successful.
Reach
So,
out.
Yeah, so feel free to reach out. We're more than happy. We may not have the direct answer for you, but
If we don't, we'll tell you.
Yes.
But if we do and we've experienced it, it could make you a little money or save you a little money.
right, no strings attached.
No strings.
Anyway, so that's it for us for this week. Until next time.
That
Next
should be
week.
the name of this podcast, No Strings Attached.
Oh yeah. Oh, no, then wait a minute. Then we would be married.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
That's this week's episode of Married to the Boss podcast.